Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Massive, I would say, or at least major drone attack on Moscow and its suburbs. More than 2,000 drones attacked Moscow overnight. The Russians claim they repelled the attack. I'm going to give you the details as we go. The Russians retaliated with more than 130 drones and some Iskander missiles. Then the Russians claim that the European Union is about to occupy the artificially created country of Moldova. And they say, according to their intel, that these guys really want to do something against Russia by occupying Moldova. On the other hand, the Moldovan authorities or the Romanian authorities in Moldova claim that actually is Moscow that tries to use Moldova as a springboard to attack Odessa. Well, we're gonna look over some maps and we'll analyze if that is possible. Now, Moldova is an artificially created country as a buffer zone. It is not part of NATO or the European Union. Therefore, it can be used in a war against Russia. NATO countries cannot be used because Russia will strike them and then NATO has to go to war with Russia, which they don't want at this point. They want to be able to strike Moscow or Russia, but without Russia's ability to strike back. It seems like that is going to change, and I'm going to cover that in the next video after this one. So let's start with the first topic, which is Ukrainian attack of Moscow. Russia Today, the 23rd of September 2025. Ukrainian drone raid on Moscow repelled, according to the mayor. The breeze damaged several cars in the Russian capital's suburbs, local media have reported. Air defenses around Russia's capital, Moscow, have destroyed or intercepted 32 Ukrainian drones targeting the megapolis. Mayor Sergei Sobyanin has reported. There you have it. In a series of Telegram posts beginning around 8 p.m. on Monday, Sobyanin described several waves of attacks that allegedly stretched into the early hours of Tuesday. He did not provide details. So, what happened? Let's see what else we have here. A total of 69 Ukrainian drones have been neutralized over the regions of Belgorod, Bryansk, Kaluga, Kursk, Moscow, Rostov, Ryazov, Samara and Saratov, as well as Crimea. Alright, let's look over a little map here. This is the map of Ukraine. Moscow is right here. So this, I'm going to show another map as well. So they say these guys attacked this Bryansk, Kaluga, Ryazan and these areas in here. No problem, this Russian says. You attack Moscow, we are going to strike you back. Over this map, which is right here, we have Ukraine and we have Moscow. Just as a comparison, how far these 32 drones, I think they were, attacked and how far did they get. Alright, and these guys went and attacked, as the Russians claim, right there. Rostov, Ryazan, Samara, Saratov. They even went to the east a little bit. If we're gonna go from Ukraine in here to Saratov Oblast and not only. Alright, that's north of the Baltic Sea. Alright, let's see what these guys are saying in the Ukrainska Pravda, the Ukrainian themselves, right? Drones attack Moscow and its suburbs. Monday, the 22nd September 2025 at 8:22 p.m. Drones attack Moscow and its suburbs on the evening of September 22. According to the mayor, Sobyanin, the mayor, has claimed Russian defenses have shot down 9 drones over the city. Local media outlets have reported loud noises across Moscow. No casualties of damage have been reported. An airport has been temporary restrictions, takeoffs and landing. That's all these guys give us from the Ukrainian. Let's see the Russians' retaliation, shall we? Is according to Sputnik. This is 2 hours ago, today on the 23rd of September. Russia launches massive strike on Ukrainian forces in Odessa region in response to Crimea attack. So the Ukrainians, according to the Russians, attacked a rehabilitation center in Crimea, and not only the Ukrainians claim they shut down an S-400 and many other things. So these guys say in retaliation, we had a massive strike on Ukrainian forces in Odessa region. Where is Odessa region? All right, or Odessa region is by the Black Sea. So this is the Crimean Peninsula, this is Odessa, this is Moldova that we're going to talk about later. This is the Black Sea. So in Odessa region, this is the Odessa Oblast right there. Let's see what the Russians are claiming. Russian troops carried out a coordinated strike against Ukrainian forces in retaliation for a terrorist attack on civilian targets in Crimea. Got it? Additionally, storage sites of unmanned aerial vehicles at the Shokolny airfield in Odessa region, from which strike drones were launched at civilian infrastructure in the Republic of Crimea, were hit. And here on September 21st, Ukraine carried out a deliberate terrorist attack on civilian targets in Crimea, with the Ukrainian armed forces struck a resort area with no military facilities, using drones equipped with high explosive warheads. So the Russian says, well, it's okay, we just struck the facility, the industrial complex, the assembly, including the little airfield in Odessa region. And that's not all. Russians attacked Ukraine with 3 missiles and 115 UAVs overnight. 15 hits recorded. Since the evening of 22nd of September, Russia has launched 3 Iskander-M KN-23 ballistic missiles and 115 strike drones, including Shahed and Gerberah types, as well as other UAVs against Ukraine. Ukrainian defenses has successfully intercepted 103 drones, but they were struck in 6 locations. So the drones were launched from, according to the Ukrainians, the cities of Kursk, Oriol, Milerovo, Shatalova, and Primorsko-Akhtarsk, as well as Hvarditske in temporary occupied Crimea. So the same usual suspect. This is from Crimea, drones launched, Primorsko-Akhtarsk right here, the drones were launched, and then we go to Milerovo, which is in the east, in here, right here, and Milerovo, then they go to the, again, Bryansk, right here, Oriol, Kursk, and Shatalovo here. So this area, northeast, east in Milerovo, then you got southeast in Primorsko-Akhtarsk and the Crimean Peninsula. Let's see if they tell us where they launched the missiles from. Let's see, anything here? No, it does not say. UAVs, Paka, the air, Paka-Tsaka, they don't say where the Iskanders were launched from. No problem, we have this one. Russia attacked Ukraine with Iskanders, plural, and Shaheds, most drones down, Air Force. So the same information, let's see. All right, the drones were launched from the same thing. According to the military, about 60 of the launched targets were Shaheds, and I don't see the Iskanders where they were launched from. 5 market kiosk, caught fire, Bagadzaga, Magalaga, nothing. All right, no problem. Let's try Ukraine form. The same information. Let's see if they tell us where the Iskanders were launched from. And I don't see missile strike and 12 strike were recorded in CPAP. It doesn't say where the Iskanders. Why? Because probably if they would know, they would strike them back. And again, they struck the district of Odessa with ballistic missiles. All right, that's with this. Let's go to Moldova. And according to the Russians, and Russia Today reporting on the 23rd of September, the European Union preparing to, quote-unquote, occupy Moldova, according to Moscow. Brussels is willing to use force, did you hear that? To ensure that Chisinau continues to pursue Russophobic policies, Russian Foreign Intelligence Service has claimed. European countries are preparing for a military intervention in Moldova. I don't believe that. I gotta tell you that. I don't know who will intervene. The Brits? or the Romanians. According to Russia's foreign intelligence services, the agency warned that bureaucrats in Brussels intend to ensure that Chisinau continues to pursue anti-Russian policy and will go as far as to occupy Moldova after upcoming parliamentary elections. I don't think that. It's not impossible, but hey, let's see what's going on here. In a press release on Monday, the SVR stated that it has observed European NATO forces being concentrated in Romania, near the border with Moldova. I will show you, and further claimed that they are preparing to deploy to Odessa region in Ukraine to intimidate Moldova's breakaway region of Transnistria. It added that military servicemen from France and the UK have already arrived in Odessa. What? So these guys are already in Odessa? They say. So where is that located? In here. So they say the French and the Brits are right here. The border they're talking about is right here with Moldova. In Romania, this is the blah 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 country of Romania. This is the artificial country of Moldova. This is Transnistria. These guys are talking about right here. And if you look at Transnistria, Transnistria does not have access to the Black Sea, only maybe through this right here that goes actually to Ukraine. So this Transnistria, why am I talking about Transnistria? Because the people in Moldova claim, obviously, that these guys will be used in order to attack Odessa and, to clinch them like that. The Russians barely can even cross the Dnipro River in this area right here. So I don't know what they exactly are talking about. So the French and the British, they said what? Already arrived servicemen, military servicemen are, according to these guys, right here in Odessa already, with troops, according to the Russians, right here, ready to enter Moldova. There will be elections in Moldova, I think, in a week or so. Well, election, whatever they have over there, you know what it is. Selection and then confirmation, that's what it is. Other people select them for you to confirm them. According to the SVR, forces from European countries intend to intervene following the upcoming parliamentary elections, where Brussels and Chisinau will already falsify the results in the hope of driving Moldovan citizens to the streets to defend their rights. After that, at the request of Moldova President Maia Sandu, European forces will enter the country and compel Moldovans, and I'm going to accept dictatorship under the guise of European democracy. Well, we'll see if that would be true or not. It's going to be in a few weeks, right? The SVR similarly warned in July that NATO was molding Moldova into a military battering ram against Russia. Former Moldovan President Igor Dodon also recently claimed that the European Union intends to use Moldova as a cannon fodder in a possible future conflict with Russia. Well, we'll find out about in a week or two. Now, Europe preparing to occupy Moldova, the same Russian intel is the same thing. Western provocations to send forces into Moldova are possible during the elections to the Supreme Council of Transnistria of November 30, according to Papapap. NATO troops are being prepared for a landing in Ukraine's Odessa region to intimidate Transnistria. NATO military units are currently concentrated in Romania near the Moldovan borders. And I already told you that. And they also said they are right there. The first group of military personnel from France, United Kingdom, has already arrived in Odessa. Really? So they're already in Odessa. And this is what they try to destroy. Okay, let's see what the guys in Moldova have to say. Ukrainska Pravda. Russia could turn Moldova into a launchpad for attack on Ukraine's Odessa Oblast. Moldovan president, this person, all right, I've been nice, I said this person, she's educated in the West, so you already know where she is from and who she cooperates with, all right, again, as the imbecile in Romania, the so-called president of Romania, Mr. Nicușor. Two idiots. Okay, so she says, or these guys say, that the Russians will use Moldova as the springboard or pussy pad, launch pad for attack on Ukraine. Now let's see. So this is Moldova. So how could that be possible? So they say the Russians will use Moldova, probably they refer to Transnistria, all right, it's a breakaway region, but it's not like Kosovo, you know what I mean? No. It's just a breakaway region, okay, to attack Odessa. How could they do it? Well, would the Russians send their fleet from Novorossiysk right here? Will send them the lost Black Sea fleet that can't do shit from Novorossiysk right here, under the Crimean Peninsula, past Sevastopol, and go where exactly? How can they get to Transnistria, to Tiraspol? Through here? Is that how they're gonna go? They're gonna go through this estuary or whatever is that called? Is they gonna go and break away under that bridge over there and gonna go here and then what? Take a shit here? How are they gonna get over there? Now, do you think the Russians will just get about a few Hercules airplanes from the Americans are gonna and land here like, I don't know, 30,000 of them? And if they land over there, how are they gonna supply them? How are they gonna take over? Why don't they just take over Odessa? Why do they need to go over there? I mean, it's so imbecilic, the whole thing. How can you go and do that? Transnistria is a landlocked mass of whatever it is. How can you do that? And besides, Moldova, the easiest thing these guys should have done, but they don't, for the Romanians will be this. The Romanians and on both sides of Prut, on Moldova and Romania, should just decree that Moldova returns to Romania and reunifies with Romania, like Crimean Peninsula. And that would clarify a lot of things. In one stroke of a pen, Moldova would become not only a European Union country, but also a NATO country. And they would take Transnistria right in the European Union. They would take Transnistria, according to them, right into NATO, and then they would clear the fields in Transnistria. And the Russians, what could they say? Could they recognize that? Of course not. But they will not do that. I tell you why. Because first, you see this part here? This is part of Bessarabia, but was given by Stalin to these guys right here, the Ukrainians. So this should come as well to Romania if this comes over there. And not only that, you see this part right here with Chernouți right here? This is Northern Bukovina that was also taken from Romania by Stalin. So that also should come here. It doesn't mean that they can't just say, we're going to give you this. But they won't even give this one. They didn't give this back in 1991 at the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The Russians and the Americans did not agree with the unification of Moldova and Romania. Why was that? Well, it's a buffer zone. And there would be very clear an expansion. I think that would really risk a lot. I'm just saying. So your friends in the NATO, in the Americas, they don't want you to get united. Why? Because they're your friends, they're your allies. But they can close an eyes in the Middle East. They can also form a country in Kosovo. And they can do many other things if they want. But Moldova, niet. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't think there are troops in Odessa, personally. Maybe there are troops, there have been troops over there since the beginning of this garbage that occurs in Ukraine. There must be over there troops. Troops in Romania are ready to enter Moldova. They will enter. There's no law or rule that would stop NATO troops to be in Moldova. Zero. It's not illegal. If tomorrow the Moldovan government, with Maya Sandu, educated at Harvard, if I remember correctly, says, we would like those guys to come over and, I don't know, fuck our women for a change. I think Russia can't say anything because that's not illegal. But would then Moldova become a target of Russia? Well, it already is a target, a springboard, or whatever they said it, a launching pad, a pussy pad. Moldova will not end well either way. Why? It's a small country with 2 million people nowadays, making nothing but some wine, and being a very corrupt country. Who wants that? Romania? Romania is a corrupt country. But the Moldovans is like two little gangs, mafia gangs. I have my little town here, let's say the town of Chicago. And in town of Chicago, as a little gang, I have my little neighborhood here. That's me. And the bigger one, the bigger gang is Romania, right here, has the rest of Chicago. But the rest of the country is United States of America, okay, just so you know. So this little gang does not want to unite with the bigger gang because it's going to lose control of its own thing. It's going to merge with the bigger gang. That means they're going to be swallowed by the bigger gang. They want the little garbage neighborhood to do whatever they want. That's why Moldova, the guys in Moldova, don't really want to unite with the Romanians because they will be gulped by the mafiosis from Romania. Neither they want to go to Ukraine. Those are bigger mafiosis than the Romanians, just so you know. All right, just go to Romania and ask the Romanians about the Ukrainians, the Ukrainian money and gangs and mafia. Just go over there and ask them, hey, how about the Ukrainians? And you're going to see how they not very happy. Anyway, here it is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.